Okay. Paul, I know he was dungeon. But for the record, he never said what he said while in the dungeon. He did so with swag. You need to talk to Winston and whoever is in his posse. It has nothing to do with Kaiser or moi. Okay? Okay? Despite my feelings of once dungeon, always dungeon, this is one of those cases where I had to make an exception. I. And, yeah. So, yeah, just wanted to clarify that, and Dungeon Master's spoken on that. And what up, again, Schmoedown Rockers, and, finally Bushlight Apple's back. Yay. And, these matches were interesting, to say the fucking least. Let's see. I need to go back and do me research. Back in my thing. And, yeah. Couple former... the first match that we did get this week, there's not much to really talk about. I mean, well, actually, before you get to that, I actually just remembered something. The Lightning Time match, I mean, the Deception needs to, like, go back to the drawing board at this point. But if Eruption doesn't win their title match, then it'd be stupid to put Deception in. And then Rushmore was interesting. I never thought it'd be on JT this time, which bums me that it had to be Roka that carried. Which I think a lot of people were thinking was going to happen, but it wound up being the opposite throughout the tournament. But yet, it seems something's happening and JT's starting to have his issue again. Yikes. But it was the one time. It was one of the questions. Other than that, they've been great. He still shows how great of a team player he is. Those matches were fine, and I guess whatever I told you I was supposed to remember last week, I forgot because it's been a week. Should just do it when I was fresh with it. Oh well. Match was fine. But anyways, it's more the... It was nice to see Claudia Duff back after her match with Warfather. But she had a rough match. Both of them, I think. And they weren't great. I feel bad for these ladies. But Claudia Duff probably needed to win a little bit more than Chrissy V. She's still in her rookie season, and Claudia needed to have a reason to have a win. But the way it went about, to me personally, at least the way this kind of wound up coming about, these ladies aren't going to be, just off of the two matches we have seen from them, they're not championship material. I'm sorry, but I mean, Claudia Duff could, if we actually see her do a legitimately good round 3, because she's going to get TKO'd immediately if she's not ahead in a game. If she's not ahead in her game, so yeah, it's one of those situations, and it sucks. But yeah. However, and then we couldn't even get her, like, I know we all have those issues, but simultaneously, you can't have that kind of stumble in a round 3, especially if you want to be an elite member, and elite in the Schmoedown at this point. It's just not going to work, and they don't have the great character development either, so it was just going to be a wash, no matter what. And as a match, the only thing that was entertaining was, the managers of their usual rivalry, and that, at least in and of itself, was lived up to as usual. But it just wasn't enough to save this as a match itself. It was all up to the competitors themselves at this point. And that's not what the case is. If anything, at least one question in round 3 got answered correctly, at least, by Claudia Dolph with her 5-pointer. I didn't expect though Clee and Brittany and Clea didn't play like whatever that was, but I think it's also because she was facing Sabrina. She was facing who she's got some work to do. I think in her case, I think she should have wound up in the Stars and became a better player that way instead. I think Christy V needs to be dropped. Maybe do something with her, and we know we don't have a conflict of interest, and Hannah can actually do something to make sure she knows fucking Trek. Ugh, that was rough. That was rough. But other than that, Brittany Yana, it's just a shame she took this. Again, with this, why did she even bother picking Jericho back up? But the only good news is, in her case, with her Clea Wiggins, Clea Wiggins got TKO'd. She had another one of those round 3 situations, I guess. But other than that, honestly the most interesting of the matches to me, aside from Thursday's match, was the teams match here. Even though I understood, and this is the one where it seems this is the one thing that happened in the recent free agency that actually paid the fuck off for Roxy, it seems, and actually will, is him drafting then the spoiler, though now Slick. Really? I guess maybe it's a personality difference, and Slick is more, I guess because of having to be forced to team with Bancroft here, he has to play face, I guess, because he was better as the spoiler personally to me as a character, which is why it makes no sense why you show him from his time as the spoiler in the FCL and then this. But I knew even as a player, competitor, he was going to be fine. And the column says Chaos Theory. Really? A slight alternative to Odd Couple? Come on. But anyways. And I figured that was the team that I'd have had the chance to win. I wanted to root for Pop Quiz more so because I want to see Jin and even my old... But I didn't expect the Ed Harris thing to happen like anybody else. And nobody expected Roxy, who another person in Schmoedown, y'all know, has a thing against Ed Harris because of his thing with Paul. Which is why I apologize to Paul, but, let's face it, if there was a world where Ed Harris wound up in freaking Boondock Saints, they'll get along super well. That's what would have happened between Paul and them. I'm just saying, there's probably an alternate universe that's like that. But anyways, as far as this is concerned, Vinny kind of sort of carried the match in a weird way. Nothing against Jen at all. I kind of want to see her do well too. It's just a shame that of the people that have been involved in fan leagues, she never got to live up to being a fan leaguer that lived up to being a part of fan leagues. And that's the saddest part about it. Chaos Theory, congrats to you guys. You pretty much all played straight up perfect, and I'm just glad that they didn't get that Pop Quiz didn't get TKO'd. And at this point, I'm going to just say it. The S does not stand for Schmoedown and Swag anymore. It literally, at this point, with the tiny team names alone, screams that it stands for school instead of Schmoedown, Winners and Greatness. But even what the last 3 letters in Swag mean at this point don't mean, at least this season, don't mean jack shit. So it just kind of doesn't. So at least at this point, it's just a school and a team. I get that they're trying to be tight and everything. And, you took some of our scraps, by the way, too, mind you. Not just Roxy here on this week, but at least I will give him even more respect to her. I didn't think that I would wind up going the opposite way because of the Ed Harris thing. Not just the Ed Harris thing, but because Roxy decided to end post-interview doing the smartest thing and not including us with corruption, or at least in the context of what she was saying, including us as not deserving of our wins in the dungeon. At least she's willing to, or at least she wasn't, she might have tried to asteriscally exclude it, but she never outright said the dungeon. She just said FinStock Exchange and corruption. The fact she didn't include us, which I was afraid she was going to, but she didn't. Good job, Roxy. Beat Nick Slap for holding your tongue on that one. Even though I think part of you wanted to say that, but I think we at least held championships, and plus we had given the way we drafted, I don't think she'd want to blame us anyway. And plus, since we were kind enough to drop Jericho to you, I guess you held your tongue, didn't you? So you'd pick him up, because that's what happened. And he could have done a crazier trade, but I think he wasn't too worried about it. Since Del Rio got dropped from Den, but that was because of scheduling conflict, I think, with the Den, unfortunately. And it's hurt, and like I said last week, it hurts to know that him and Jader would have been a great team. And knowing Jader is also sort of knowing personally already that Jader and Kaiser, outside of the Schmoedown's current state of things, are kind of actually tight. I think we can still work something out in the dungeon for you, Jader. If you come over, we can make that team you were promised in the Den actually happen. We have another free agency, Just saying. I mean, you're doing well with them, which is probably why they're not going to drop you. But if you start, and they do, we'll be willing to pick up them and make you guys championship material. If for some reason Danger Zone don't, which I do believe they will. But you will definitely... They just make people be stupid to not draft the two of you in the same faction to make sure that you did. You know what I mean? Just saying. But anyways, overall, it was a good match. Overall, at least at the end, besides the way the pay-per-view kind of wound about, which was fine, I guess. Today's match was probably the most entertaining, with the teams match at least, but oh well. What did you guys think? Despite gave me a lot more to remember to talk about. What did you guys but what did you guys think of the matches and the pay-per-view? Leave a comment below. Let me know. As always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown rocks, it's got entertainment, so on and so forth. And hopefully, live events coming back. I can't wait for those. The closest thing I'm going to get right now for this year, which won't unfortunately be spectacular because I'm guessing that's already sold out like that, as I expected it would. And all that stuff, but which also, link in the description to my page if you want to follow me there, as well as having already liked this, the like button on this video with thrust if you must. Hit the subscribe button. And also dungeon page. Anyways, new page, home of the current five-time singles champion of the world, Dangerous Dan Murrell. Oh yeah, you better dig it. Yeah, now can you dig that, suckers? Oh yeah, 'cause I dig it. Oh yeah.